She smiled at your face. She destroyed your life. And she slept perfectly fine that night. Some K-drama women do not just break hearts. They destroy families, manipulate entire lives, weaponize love, turn trauma into strategy. And somehow, they still leave viewers obsessed with them. K-drama has given us some of the most beautifully packaged, dangerously toxic women in television history. Women who manipulate with elegance, women who gaslight with grace, women who will burn everything down, and somehow make you understand why. And honestly, that might be the scariest part. Today we are counting down the top 10 most toxic female leads in K-drama, ranked from the least toxic to the most absolutely unhinged. And I promise you, by the time we get to number 1, your jaw is going to be on the floor. Because the woman at number 1 is not the loudest person on this list. She is the most realistic, and that makes her terrifying. If you are new here, subscribe right now, because the kind of content we serve on this channel, you do not want to miss a single video. Let's get into it. We are starting this list with the woman who made the word arrogant look expensive. Hong Hae-in is a third-generation Chaebol heiress who walks into every room like the walls should be grateful she showed up. Cold, dismissive, emotionally unavailable. She treated the man who loved her like he was a scheduled inconvenience. And here is where the fandom gets divided. Because some viewers saw a misunderstood woman struggling emotionally. Others saw a rich woman emotionally suffocating her husband for half the drama. Both sides honestly have a point. Now, yes, Queen of Tears is a love story. Yes, she grows. Yes, Kim Ji-won made us ugly cry by episode 12. But let's not rewrite history. In those early episodes, Hong Hae-in had the emotional warmth of a luxury refrigerator. She represents a very specific kind of toxicity, the kind wrapped in designer clothes, generational wealth, and emotional detachment so deep it starts feeling normal. The kind of person who hurts you without even realizing they are hurting you, because nobody has ever told them no. And the scariest toxic people are usually the ones convinced they are reasonable. Number 10. And somehow we are already uncomfortable. It only gets worse from here. At number 9, we have a woman who was literally described in the drama itself as a sociopath, and the audience heard that and said, "Okay, queen, Jo Yi-seo has an IQ of 162 and absolutely zero hesitation about manipulating the people around her. She lies easily, reads people instantly, moves emotions around like chess pieces, and once she decided she wanted Park Seo-roy, that was basically the end of free will for everyone involved. She threw hot coffee at someone in episode 1, and viewers cheered. That is the power of Kim Demi's performance. Because if we are being serious for a second, if somebody behaved like Jo Yi-seo in real life, most people would run fast. But on screen, you kept rooting for her anyway. Why? Because she was charismatic, and charisma is dangerous. Some of the most toxic people are not the loudest villains. They are the people who make manipulation feel exciting. And honestly, half the audience probably defended her at least once while watching. That is what makes her scary. She did not just manipulate the characters. She manipulated you. Number 9. And we are just warming up. Number 8 goes to a woman who almost stabbed someone with a pen in episode 1, and somehow still became a fan favorite. Ko Moon-young is a children's book author with antisocial personality disorder who decides she wants Moon Gang-tae and begins treating his boundaries like optional suggestions. She follows him across the country, invades his space, uses emotional pressure to keep him close. And the worst part? Sometimes it worked. That is what made the relationship so uncomfortable to watch, because you knew she was crossing lines, but you still wanted them together anyway. That is good character writing and terrifying psychology. Seo Ye-ji played Ko Moon-young with so much style, elegance, and magnetic intensity that the internet completely folded. Those outfits, that voice, that stare. At some point, viewers stopped asking, Is she toxic? And started asking, where can I buy her wardrobe? This character is proof that K-drama can wrap deeply alarming behavior in enough aesthetic beauty to make audiences forget basic red flags. Because if Ko Moon Young showed up at your workplace uninvited in real life, you are not falling in love. You are calling security on screen. You were saving edits of her to your phone at 2 a.m. number 8, and somehow the women ahead of her are even worse. Now, before the comment section attacks me, hear me out carefully. Moon Dong-eun is a survivor, a victim of horrifying abuse who spent 2 decades building one of the most meticulous revenge plans in K-drama history. She is intelligent, compelling, devastatingly human. She's also toxic. And this is where the fandom gets really divided. Because some viewers see her revenge as justice. Others think she slowly became consumed by the very darkness that destroyed her. And honestly, that is exactly what makes The Glory brilliant. Moon Dong-eun built her entire identity around revenge. She manipulated people who genuinely cared about her, used affection as strategy, placed herself inside a child's life to get closer to her abusers. And she felt almost no guilt about the collateral damage. Do we understand why? Absolutely. But trauma does not automatically erase consequences. And that is the uncomfortable question this drama forces you to sit with. Sometimes the most tragic, toxic people are not born cruel. Sometimes they are reshaped by pain. Song Hye-kyo played Dong-eun with such quiet devastation that the discomfort creeps up on you slowly. You start the drama wanting revenge for her. Then somewhere along the way, you realize revenge has consumed her too. And that realization hits hard. Number 7. And from this point forward, the toxicity becomes almost impossible to defend. At number 6, the woman who made an entire country furious. Yo Da-kyung knew Lee Tae-oh was married, knew he had a son, knew exactly who she was hurting, and still kept going. That level of audacity needs scientific study. She sat across from Ji Sun-woo, looked directly into her eyes, and smiled. That scene alone raised blood pressure across South Korea. What makes Da-kyung so compelling is not just the affair, it is the entitlement. She grew up so privileged that consequences genuinely felt optional to her. She wanted something, so she took it. And when her own life eventually collapsed, she looked almost confused, like the universe had violated an agreement she thought existed. Han So-hee played her with such calculated elegance that viewers sent the actress actual hate messages, which is insane. Please do not harass actors because they played villains well. Although, honestly, this role was so convincing that even your parents probably hated her. Number 6, and now we enter the truly dangerous tier. We have officially entered penthouse territory, which means morality is about to leave the building. Ju Seo-kyung bullied people with surgical precision, manipulated classmates, instigated violence, emotionally destroyed people for entertainment, and the scariest part? She was good at it. There are toxic characters who lash out emotionally. Seo-kyung calculated damage like homework. And because she was young, viewers kept almost forgiving her, almost understanding her, almost saying she's just a victim of her environment. And then she would do something so cruel that you immediately remembered, no, some people choose to become monsters, even when they know better. Honestly, everyone in Penthouse needed therapy, legal supervision, and probably military intervention. Han Ji-hyun played Seo-kyung with such confidence that even veteran actors struggled to stand out beside her. And what makes her dangerous is that she enjoyed cruelty, not for survival, not for revenge, for power. Number 5. And now the list becomes genuinely terrifying. Bravo, Yeonjun. If you watch The Glory, your stress levels probably increased every time this woman appeared on screen. Park Yeonjun is the architect of Moon Dong-eun's trauma. A woman who burned another human being with a curling iron, destroyed her future, humiliated her publicly, and then grew up believing she deserved a perfect life anyway. Not a single ounce of remorse. That is what makes her terrifying. Not rage, not violence. Certainty. The certainty that people like her are untouchable. Lim Ji-yeon played Yeonjin with such glamorous cruelty that Park Yeonjin became a cultural phenomenon. And honestly, she might be one of the most hateable characters K-drama has ever produced, which is a compliment. Because making viewers genuinely angry is difficult. Making them unable to look away while angry, that is elite acting. Every time Yeonjin appeared on screen, you were waiting for disaster. And somehow she always exceeded expectations. Number 4. And what comes next makes even her look emotionally stable. Now we enter the level where toxic no longer feels strong enough. Kim Joo-young, Coach Kim, is one of the most quietly horrifying characters ever written in K-drama because she does not scream. She does not panic. She barely even raises her voice. She just smiles. And somehow that is worse. Coach Kim psychologically dismantled children for results. Not accidentally, not emotionally, deliberately. She studied insecurities like a scientist, found emotional weaknesses, and weaponized them with terrifying precision. Parents literally knelt before her, and she looked down at them with the calmness of somebody who had completely detached morality from ambition. That is terrifying, because the scariest people are not always emotional monsters. Sometimes they are emotionally empty. Kim Seo-hyung made stillness feel dangerous. Every scene with her felt like watching somebody slowly tighten a wire around another person's neck. Emotionally, psychologically, silently. And the worst part? People like Coach Kim exist in real life. That is why Sky Castle hit so hard. Number 3. 2 left. And I genuinely do not think some of these women would survive group therapy. The second most toxic female lead in K-drama history is a woman who watched her rival fall, Alpha, and let her fall. Cheon Seo-jin is chaos wrapped in diamonds, jealousy, privilege, obsession, insecurity. Every destructive emotion possible somehow existed inside one woman. She ruined careers, manipulated her daughter, lied constantly, committed crimes, destroyed lives. And somehow, she still had moments where you almost sympathized with her. That is insane. The Mazeppa piano scene alone deserves psychological analysis. If you know, you know. If you do not know, go watch Penthouse immediately after this video. Actually, no. Prepare emotionally first. Cheon Seo-jin did not just create drama. She created emotional, natural disasters. Kim So-yeon's performance was so explosive, so emotionally unhinged, so completely committed that it became impossible to imagine anyone else playing the role. And yet, even Cheon Seo-jin is not number 1, because as terrifying as she was, she still felt larger than life. The woman at number 1 feels real, and reality is always scarier. Jin does not feel fictional. She feels possible. And that is why she is number 1. 10 women, 10 completely different forms of toxicity, and every single one of them was unforgettable. But the scariest part about these characters is not what they did. It is how often we understood them. K-drama has always understood something most entertainment ignores. Women can be just as psychologically complex, emotionally destructive, manipulative, ambitious, and terrifying as any male villain. And honestly, sometimes even more terrifying. Because these women were not monsters all the time. They were human, and that is what made them dangerous. If this video had you screaming at your screen, defending somebody in your head, or questioning your own choices in fictional women, drop a comment right now. Which toxic female lead stressed you out the most? Did I get this ranking right? Who did I miss? And which character do you think should have been number 1? Because this conversation is far from over. And if you are new here, subscribe. Because the kind of content we make on this channel, this is only the beginning. Like, subscribe, share this video with every K-drama fan you know, and I will see you in the next one.